My name is Randy Bigley. Joining me on the podcast right now is Crawford County Victims Advocate Jim Scott. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Randy. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming in. It's always good to have you come in because I learn a lot. I'm sure our listeners learn a lot of.
I hope so.
Yeah. There's a lot to, what you do. I mean, there's a lot to what you do, actually.
Sure. Oh, there is. And we work with a lot of different programs. Today, like we talked about before we went on the air, we talked about some of the programs that the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections provides to victims. So DRC has their own victim services section. So they have different programs, and I work with them closely for post-conviction notifications and things. So the DRC Victim Services, they have a notification section, and so they notify everybody or all the victims when someone gets out on parole from murder cases, then first, second, and third degree felony cases.
Okay.
So sometimes I'm not aware of those if somebody's going to get paroled. So they'll go ahead and notify whoever they have. So when we go through a case in court and somebody gets sent to prison, the victim can register for notification through Victim Services through DRC.
Okay.
It sounds complicated, but it's really not. And I'll leave my number at the end of the podcast. People can call me if they need to get registered. And you don't have to be a victim to register. You can be a family member, a friend, someone in the community. I know we have a lot of people in the community want notified about certain people when they get out too.
Right. Oh yeah, that happens a lot too. The families want to know, right, where they're
Sure.
at.
Yeah, families, friends, and then even extended family members, can be on, or just the general public. I know I register for certain cases at the office. That way we'll get a separate notification from Victim Services and DRC.
So when someone's released, when somebody's released from prison, that family can know, maybe the victim's family will be able to know where they're at, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so and the process starts with some of the parole hearings, and so normally the first parole hearing will be like a case review. So the parole officer will or the person from the parole board will go out to the prison, interview the prisoner, see what kind of progress they've made while they've been incarcerated, get input from the victims families, the community, and then they'll make a recommendation to the parole board.
Okay.
So if the parole board decides that, we're going to consider an early release, then they'll have a full board hearing in Columbus. And so they'll interview the offender separately, and then they'll have a day in front of the parole board where the victim can show up. A lot of times Matt Crawl, he's our county prosecutor, he'll go and he'll take basic case facts and everything from the trial or the conviction, and that way he can present those to the parole board, and then I'll go with the victim and help them make a victim impact statement to the parole board.
Okay, and the family does too. They can make a statement too, correct?
Yes. They make a statement. Usually they try to limit it to 20 minutes, per side. But then the parole board, they ask a lot of questions. They're very inquisitive. I think there are 9 members on the board now, and they have different disciplines, obviously. But one of the parole board members is a person from Victim Services background.
Okay.
So that makes it nice because they understand and can answer certain questions for other members of the board.
So what if inmate serves a full sentence and they get out? Does the family are they notified where that person is too when they get out, or where they're going to be living?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they'll get notified that the release is pending. Usually it's 90 days before the release. A lot of times, people move after many years, or or children grow up and get married and that kind of thing. So we work closely with them to try to find whoever the victim was or the victim's family.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
What else do you guys do?
Well, so they have different programs that they do. One of the programs that the prisoners participate in, it's voluntary on the prisoner's part, obviously, but they can do things like victim offender dialogue. After they do I think it's a 13-week course, and then if the victim wants to come in and speak with the prisoner, and the prisoner wants to speak with the victim, they can. And it's in a controlled setting, obviously, at the prison.
Sure.
They have monitors there. So, by monitors, I mean moderators, not just a TV monitor.
Right.
So, but they have moderators there to try to guide the discussion. But a lot of times the victims want to know why. why did you kill my relative? Why did you rape me? Why did you rob me? Those kinds of things. And it's a good chance for the victim to actually sit down across the table like we are and talk to the person, that's in prison.
Yeah.
So, and they get a lot of questions answered. And it's strictly voluntary on both parts. The victim doesn't have to, and the offender doesn't have to.
Right.
But it's something, and it usually takes several years to get to that point.
I bet, yeah.
It really does. Then there's a program that the offenders go through where a lot of times they'll write apology letters to the victims. So when they write the apology letter, it's of course checked by the prison officials, and then they'll get a hold of me or like our representative through victim services with DRC, and they'll get through to the victim and ask, do you want a letter? If you don't, we'll keep it in the file. If you do, we'll get it to you. But of course, that they check it to make sure it's appropriate before they send it out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of programs, and I know we don't have time to go over everything. But I just encourage people, if they have questions, if there's someone in prison they have questions about, they can reach out to me. I can get them in touch with whoever it is from OVS to speak with them.
How does somebody get a hold of you?
Well, yeah, so I work here at the county prosecutor's office. Matt Crowell's the prosecutor, and our number, of course, is 419-562-9782. So and that'll ring in. They just have to ask for me. Just ask for Jim, and they'll get the call to me.
All right. Well, Jim, thank you so much for all that great information.
Oh, sure. Yeah, thanks a lot, Randy. I appreciate it.